Hi, everybody. It's Dr. Lisa, and we're back with the community conversation. And today I'm delighted to have Miss Felisia Thibodeaux, who you will hear has become quite a sensation over the last few weeks, and you'll understand why, deservedly so. We've been talking a lot about misinformation during the pandemic, and we often go to the ground, go out into the community to hear directly from people. And so today we have an opportunity to hear from someone who's working on the front lines, and she has a very unique perspective, I think. So welcome, Miss Felisia Thibodeaux. How are you?
I'm doing just well, thank you.
Do you want to introduce yourself and just quickly tell people who you are and what you're doing?
My name is Felisia Thibodeaux. I am the executive director of an agency called Southwest Community Corporation. We're known as IT Bookman Community Center, and we operate in the Lakeview, OMI area, the Southwest sector here in San Francisco, California.
Okay.
We are the lead agency of what's called the Lakeview OMI Wellness Hub, and that was our name as we created a response to the pandemic, COVID. We were first a test center. And then because we stood up a well-oiled machine for addressing testing, we became a vaccination center. And with the vaccination and the hesitancy and the misinformation, we became a COVID resource center where we began educating the community and individuals and about the vaccine, about the misinformation, and about, so misinformation came from many aspects. People were reading social media, and every time that there's something on social media, the whole magnet thing, and out and bought magnets and show them that they didn't stick to me.
What did you hear about magnets?
That if you took the vaccine, you became like active and magnets would stick on you and stuff. So if it was practical to show that don't believe what you hear, try it out for yourself. And magnets are cheap, so you can kind of go buy them any and everywhere and show people that I'm not radioactive.
And they believed you. When you showed them, they believed you?
I mean, yes, because the proof you can see it. What they told you, you believed it because you saw it on someone's Instagram or something. But here I'm live. I got my vaccination card. I'm sharing with you. That was my vaccinator, and you can't stick a magnet on me.
Yeah. So I really wanted to, what compelled me to reach out to you for a conversation is I saw an article about you. And the article has you on the top page, and it says you were personally responsible for getting 1,270 people vaccinated in your community, which is incredible. So I would love to, first of all, that's been a few weeks ago. So what's that number up to now? But then just tell people how you did that. I think we need some inspiration right now.
So I just want to make two clarifications. When they say personally responsible, that is a true statement, but there's no one person that can do COVID and COVID relief. It takes someone out there on the ground, and I have a staff of about 6 people who are sharing flyers and information about the hub and when you can get vaccinated. There's a person that when people call that schedules them, because we have barriers to technology and internet and stuff in our community. So that there's people who need to know, what about Pfizer, Moderna, Johnson & Johnson, and all of these things that can answer the question. So I'm really, even though I track my numbers, I'm really part of a team that it takes to help people get to the shot.
I appreciate that, but every team needs a leader, and clearly you should take some credit for that. So I definitely appreciate you recognizing the rest of the team. Tell us a little bit about some of the things you heard, reasons people didn't want to get vaccinated, other than the magnets.
Yes, just misinformation about we were being used as guinea pigs. There was already hesitancy in the Black community from things, the Tuskegee Institute, the hysterectomies on Black women, the um, steroids being placed in there, and that they don't value Black people and they always use us. And a lot of people feel like they've been lied to from just the institutional racism that exists, you know, the police brutality, all of this are coming off of George Floyd and police brutality and the Trumpism here in our city and state. Just all of that compared, the QAnon factor. It was like, oh no, I seen these people talking about, you know, they putting a microchip in you and all of this stuff. People tend to believe what they see on social media based on that's 15,000 followers. And if people weren't believing, how do they got 15,000 followers?
Oh, wow. Yeah, because the bad information or sensational information spreads like wildfire. It's hard for us to keep up when we're trying to address misinformation because of that. But that's a good point. I hadn't considered that people consider the followership or the higher numbers
and the likes and the shares, and some people really do the
credible if it has more likes and shares. Is that what they think?
Yes, because the person who's speaking the truth may only have 10 friends,
right?
And nobody shared it, but it's the truth. So you tend to quantify based on the number of friends and likes and shares, because that's kind of where our whole country has gone to. How many followers and how many friends. It's not about how much do they speak. So then we need to start talking about every one person in its wholeness. That I'm proud that we did a pop-up at McDonald's and we got 25 vaccinated. I'm going to talk about the 25 vaccinated, not in the same context that I'm going to talk about the hesitancy. I believe that there's a time to talk about vaccine hesitancy. I don't think it should be our headline. I don't think it should be the first thing off of our mouths. We should be talking about, today we got 4 people, and let people, it's just like voting. Vote counts, and then it comes together in its total, the sum of the sum of our parts. And so we need to be messaging what we want to have messaging, and not playing into, I think about politicians. They say, tell me ask this person to answer these 4 questions. And then if you answer their questions, you just use your time. And now you only got 30 seconds to get your point across. So if I'm going to answer your questions, they're going to be after I come with my point that I'm trying to get across. Then I may have time to answer your questions. So I don't play your game. I'm here to tell you to go vote and do all that. You questioning me on this. And if I play your game.
Your approach, then tell us about McDonald's. You went to McDonald's, and what happened? What did you do to get 25 people vaccinated?
I didn't go, but I sent my team. That's the outreach team. We partnered with McDonald's to go inside, and to be able to talk to people in the line without the, without the owners of like, what are you doing? So we let them know. We set up outside so it was safe, and we gave people an opportunity who was going through the drive-through, and they look and see us on a Saturday, 12 noon. As they see 10 and 12 people was in cars, but they still to come and talk to them about accessing the vaccine. If you're on the fence, it's right here. You don't have to think about it no more. The Delta is not the time to be unvaccinated, and tell people, in our community, it is surging, using facts and data, giving them handout, letting them know which vaccine is available. And then if they say, oh, I only wanted the 1 shot. Oh, come on, let me get you signed up and call my mobile vaccinators. You still got Johnson & Johnson? You 2 blocks away. Before you go on and get your food and pull right over there. How when they're when they don't have your order ready in the drive-through, they ask you to wait to the side, just wait
Yeah.
on to the side. We're gonna serve you, making it accessible and easy and kind of fun, because we're meeting people where they are in the
Yeah, you
line.
truly are. You know, a lot of people use that phrase, but they're not doing what you're doing.
Oh
So
no, see, I go to the liquor store where they buying the Swishers and the cigarettes and the
how do
Taka
you start
vodka.
how do you start the conversation with them at the liquor store?
Have you been vaccinated? Oh no, I'm not have I ain't putting that stuff in my arm. What stuff are you talking about? That vaccine? Well, talk to me about that. And then I engaged him in a conversation. I pulled over a young man. He said he's not putting that SHIT in his arm, but he had a bottle of Taka vodka, 2 Swishers, an eighth of weed, and a pack of Newports. And I said, you want me to believe that you're not putting SHIT in your body, but I see Newports, you got one hanging out your lip. That package says will cause cancer, and you didn't, and you still smoking it. That's cheap vodka. You don't even know where that weed came from. And then he like, I never thought about it like that.
Did
And
he get
just
vaccinated?
actually he did, and now has even joined my team and
Wow.
talking it up. Just not afraid to talk to people, meeting them where they are. I'm not judging whether you smoke or not. I'm just saying your statement to me was that you're not putting SHIT into your body, but you got a Newport hanging off your lip and pack of weed and some Swishers. You putting stuff in your body, but you're making a choice. And I just wanted to know what the real reason was. And then I dared to ask him, you think it's because fear? He said, yep. I'm scared of the vaccine. I say, so now we talking, because it ain't because you're not putting stuff in your body, but fear. And fear, I can help you overcome fear by giving you solid information that you can trust, that you can research on your own, break it down. Let's talk about the fear, because the fear of Black men in our community, they're not going to talk about, I'm scared of anything. They need to be power strong or this or that, and carrying these communities. So they're not going to talk about fear. It's easy to say, I ain't putting that shit in my arm, and go on about their business. But if you dare to challenge the status quo, what is just being said for the sake of, and I'm not afraid to talk to people. I pride myself of being from the hood to the boardroom.
Yes. Yeah, you can speak multiple languages. I call people like you polyglots.
Okay.
You speak lots of
And
languages. That's great. And it's useful, right? Especially for
very
a leader.
useful.
Mm-hmm.
And then you have to be modeling the behavior that you want to see. You can't be, it's just like ministry. You can't be talking about winning souls here and then selling dope on the back end, because people know that you a shyster. But if you preaching it and you walking it and you talking it and you living it, and people in your community know what you represent, then when you speak. But we can't be speaking with forked tongue and expect to get over people who are speaking deliberate. Because when we're looking at race and inequality and injustices, they might not be speaking the truth, but they are not speaking with forked, very clear what their agenda is, and they're standing on it. They putting their political capital on it, their money on it. And so it might not even be the truth, but sometimes we go half stepping, and we got to be bold like those who are telling the untruths and willing to go into the byways and the back doors and the hoods and the valleys and the clubs. And we can't be afraid of our community. A lot of people are afraid to go into our Black communities because what's sensationalized in media about Black on Black crime and community violence. So, everybody think if you pull up on certain blocks, you're going to be shot, even if there hasn't been any shootings. And we let people dictate our narratives around our communities, and they become sad, and we've become sad at our own communities, and rightfully so, because death is hard. But how do we turn that around in a way of a COVID and a vaccine, and to continue to test and not look like we are only repeating? Because people quick to say the white man's way, or It's easy to not really get into the conversation to say, oh, you're talking that white man's. No, I'm talking about the life shit.
Yeah.
Like, how you gonna stay alive, and don't come at me with that. What you doing to stay alive? How you
Yeah.
gonna protect your grandmother? You just told me you take care of your grandmother. So if you're not vaccinated, then you can get out here where you might, I'm young, I'm black, I ain't catching the COVID, but your 92-year-old grandmother, do you not? We have to make people be responsible and accountable for what
And how do
they're
they respond
saying.
to that? Do they accept the accountability or the ownership of that? When you tell a young person you need to be vaccinated or you need to do X, Y, and Z to protect your elders, what is the response?
Well, see, what they're saying is, I'm all right. I'm gonna be cool. And I say, so you live by yourself? No, I stay with my mama. So is your mama gonna be cool? Oh, she took it. Or I didn't think about that. Do you know that you can carry the disease right to her? So is having the answer for those that's finna slide you the stuff. And then if people are gonna stop and talk to you, being able to know the resources in your community that, I said, I got vaccinated. I was just like you. I was gonna wait and see how many people died and how many people did this and get an eye growing in the middle of their head. And I was gonna wait. And then my senior said the same thing to me. We are your guinea pig. You scheduled us to get the vaccine. We're now getting our second shot. I'm black, you're black. They told me I'm 92 and getting it, and you're this. I got ailments and lupus, and I do too, and we have survived. Get your shot. And so when I realized that the truth was speaking, what was I waiting on? When they were getting their second first, but I was hesitant also. I didn't just wake up and get vaccinated. I was one of the skeptical ones, but I then had to educate myself on the realness about the vaccine.
What convinced you ultimately, as someone with chronic health conditions, questioning the vaccine? What was it that tipped you over?
Well, I was instrumental in getting 500 people vaccinated in January. So when they were time for their second shots in February, and they talked about side effects and how they were so happy and that they just felt the monkey come off of their backs, because now they feel like they had did what they could do to protect themselves. I had to keep it real with myself. Like, wow, I really never considered that about protecting myself. But when I became vaccinated, after educating and kind of diving into what the truth was around vaccination, and I had to go do my homework. Then once I got vaccinated, and then I survived.
Did you have side effects?
Pardon me?
Did you have side effects?
I did. I had headaches for a couple of days, and on my second shot, I was very fatigued and slept it off. But when I woke up, I took my fever, I looked in the mirror, and I was like, well, I still look the same. Then when I started eating, I said, oh, that appetite's still there. And I really haven't looked back. But when I looked at how I overcame it and me trusting what was going on with the seniors whom I serve, then my energy around it, I started to convince people, not like I said, let me convince them, but I was just like, ooh, I remember when that was, but you know what? That monkey is off my back. I know I'm protected. And what I hear is that I might get it, but I'm gonna survive. And the number is 500,000, 600,000, 700,000 of people who died was real to me. And then if you were connected to, and you knew people who died, you knew that they were part of that number. And I didn't want my community to be part. And I was so proud. We did not lose one person in our community with the first and second surges that happened to COVID. And my seniors were like, we're vaccinated. And I could literally start to see that contribution was saving lives. It then turned to a mission. It went from a job to a mission. I'm not offering you vaccine. I'm trying to save your life, because they are dying around us. And that became real. And when you're trying to save a life, you can feel the energy, meaning like you see somebody in a pool and they drowning and you just be like, oh, they're drowning. But when you see somebody drowning, I know people who don't even know how to swim jump into a pool to try to save people who are drowning. You sacrifice yourself when you're really trying to save life. So although my days now went from come to work at 9, leave at 5, and now I'm here 7 to 7, I feel like that person who jumped in the pool. I just know how to swim. And when you know how to swim, you say, don't kick, don't fight the water, just relax, let me carry you on to the sideline so you can hold on, than to let you kick and scream. And also, even though I know how to swim, we both go down. So I know that in relationship to swimming, and that's how I feel about community vaccination is stop kicking, hold your breath. Sometimes it's a simple thing, is like, how tall are you? 6 feet? Stand up. We only in the 5 feet water. Just stand up.
Yeah.
But in people fear, they don't won't even stand up because they're just too busy fighting the powers that be.
Yeah.
So
Wow.
that's my philosophy, is in stop kicking and screaming to the edge of the pool. Now you can hold on. Or I look and see we at the 5.
So powerful. And you really squeezed me in for this interview. So I'm so grateful. And I just want to thank you for all you're doing and the example you're setting for community leaders. It's really terrific. So congratulations on all the honors you're getting, but just thank you.
I just want to say here at Lakeview OMI, this week, our new motto is everything up. We roll up, we pop up, we walk up, we have drive up. We making vaccine testing accessible to our community, and they're responding to the light, even if it's, just 50 people a day who get vaccinated, 50 a day, that starts adding up. That's 200 a month if you were only doing 1 day of vaccination. And I believe with one by one and counting each one as a success and being proud, it lets those who were shying behind the vaccines and, oh, I'm vaccinated, and teach one. And that's maybe how we even change our community even beyond COVID. So just want to say.